Right friends, welcome back to Why and How. This is 15th week. The first one is militant group ETA demanding independent Basque state began the process of handing over remaining weapons. That means the insurgency problem which is spread across two countries. Please look into this map. Spain and France. The demand for Basque state spreads over two countries, Spain and France. Now the ETA militants decided to surrender arms, and when you are looking at Spain, please don't forget one more area, that is Catalonia region. So Catalonia region is probably here, and Catalonia quite often separate independence movements are also taking place. So these things please don't forget. One is Basque, it spreads across Spain and France. The other one is Catalonia. Catalonia is in Spain. And Scotland may go for referendum. Scotland is the region in UK. These things don't forget. Bangladesh Prime Minister visited India. 2-3 important points. I don't want to take much time. 22 agreements were signed and $500 million this line of credit for purchasing arms. $4.5 billion, that is line of credit for various infrastructure projects. So total put together $5 billion of line of credit was announced by India during the visit of Bangladeshi Prime Minister. This deal could not be signed. That is one negative aspect. And if you look at other aspects, I already talked about line of credit for $4.5 billion and $500 million. And another important aspect is Maitri Express 2, that is Khulna Kolkata train service was launched, and trial run of Kolkata, Khulna, Dhaka bus service was also launched. Look at the next one. The Prime Minister inaugurated exhibition titled Swachhagraha Bapu Ko Karyanjali Ek Abhiyan Ek Pradarshani in New Delhi. This is to mark 100 years of Champaran Satyagraha. Champaran Satyagraha started in the year 1917, and basically the center of controversy in 1917 was Tin Khathia system. Tin Khathia system, the meaning is basically European planters forced Indian farmers to cultivate indigo on 3/20th of their land. That means 3 khatas out of 20 khatas. And what is the need for indigo? Because in those days indigo was used as dye for cotton yarn, and in these days synthetic dyes are used, and basically the purpose of dye is ability to color fabrics a deep blue. So in those days there was demand for dye. That's why this Tin Khathia system came into force, and this Champaran Satyagraha pertains to Tin Khathia system, right? So what is the meaning of this dye, and what was the need for indigo plantation? So these things we deliberated now. 100th draw of lots under Lucky Grahak Yojana, Dizzy Dhan Vyapar Yojana was conducted, and mega prize under Lucky Grahak Yojana was rupees 1 crore, whereas for merchants rupees 50 lakh. These final draws are over. Lucky Grahak Yojana, please don't forget, this is to promote digital payments. This is for consumers, and basically who has done transactions through RuPay, then Aadhaar enabled payment system, UPI, USSD based *99#. So basically this Digi Dhan Vyapar Yojana is for merchants, and Lucky Grahak Yojana is for consumers. If you want more, please look into this slide. In Kulbhushan Jadhav case, India is trying to get access to Jadhav. In fact, 15th time India requested for consular access. Consular access means the state which detains a national of other country must allow the consular officers of the country to access the detainee, and this is as per Vienna Convention. Please don't forget. In spite of 15 requests, Pakistan is not giving consular access to Kulbhushan Jadhav, right? So, look into the next one. Supreme Court observed that a general prohibition on all online content about prenatal sex determination. What is the meaning of prenatal? Prenatal means before birth. Neonatal means first 28 days after birth. So, before birth, sex determination tests are banned, and Supreme Court recently observed general prohibition on all online content about prenatal sex determination will curtail fundamental right to know. So, Supreme Court says that general prohibitory order against all the online information pertaining to sex determination is dangerous because it violates Article 19(1)(a) of the Constitution, and it curtails right to know, which is a fundamental right. That is the opinion of Supreme Court. Parliament passed HIV and AIDS Prevention and Control Bill. So, equal rights in medical treatment, admission to educational institutions and jobs, and at the same time it lists out various grounds based on which discrimination against HIV positive persons and those living with them is prohibited, and whoever does not adhere to the provisions of the bill will be penalized. There will be civil and criminal proceedings against them. So, basically to remove the discrimination against the persons affected by HIV and AIDS. If you look into the aspects, it applies not only to holding of public as well as private offices also, most important aspect. Second important aspect is access to insurance and freedom of movement. There should not be any discrimination, and it bans unfair treatment of people living with and affected by HIV with regard to accessing public facilities such as the shops, restaurants, hotels, public entertainment venues as well as public facilities. There should not be any discrimination. They should have access to insurance, and this applies to public as well as private offices also. UNICEF has reached out to Islamic civil society organizations, religious leaders and academia to create trust and address myths around immunization. There are several myths with regard to immunization, and one news report from Tamil Nadu says that immunization was affected badly in some districts of South Tamil Nadu because of the myths prevalent in the area. And here, if you look at immunization, India has got one of the largest immunization programs in the world with nearly 26 million children annually targeted for immunization. One important point is India's present immunization is 65%, and India wants to take it to 90% within 5 years. And if you look at measles, it causes 1,34,000 deaths occurred globally in 2015, and 36% occurred in India, right? And childhood mortality mainly occurs because of diarrhea, pneumonia and measles. So, under these circumstances, immunization assumed a lot of significance. From 1st May, public sector undertakings in oil sector have decided to change petrol and diesel prices every day in synchronization with international rates in 5 select cities. The cities are Puducherry, then Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh, Udaipur in Rajasthan, Jamshedpur in Jharkhand and Chandigarh. So, these 5 places you will have daily change in the rates of petroleum products, and now diesel and petroleum prices are market driven. And if you look at Indian Oil, Bharat Petroleum, Hindustan Petroleum, they own 95% of petrol pumps in the country. And next important point is, at present they revise fuel prices on 1st and 16th of every month, and on an experimental basis in these 5 cities from May 1st, daily price variation will be there. And 2 points are very important, because globally oil prices are highly volatile and they change on day-to-day basis. Second point is our currency also fluctuates on day-to-day basis. So, these 2 things can be taken into consideration to arrive at daily price. So, the mechanism which is going to be adopted from 1st May is known as dynamic pricing. Please don't forget. Right, look into the next one. Union government launched interdisciplinary committee to look at dealing with virtual currencies so as to fix the regulatory gaps in the existing framework governing virtual currencies. 9-member interdisciplinary committee is headed by Dinesh Sharma, and digital or cryptocurrencies. This Bitcoin is one example of digital currency or cryptocurrency. They function on peer-to-peer basis without any central authority, and they are capable of transferred, stored or traded electronically, and it is used and accepted among the members of specific virtual community, and it is unregulated digital money, neither issued by a central bank nor public authority. It need not be attached to a fiat currency. Indian currency system is a fiat currency, example of fiat currency. That means currency value depends on the market value, and the existing currency in our country is not supported by any physical entity like gold. That's why the currency is known as a fiat currency, right? So, the committee will look at the regulatory framework. It is interdisciplinary committee, and the important aspects are current status of virtual currencies both in India and globally, and what are the present global regulatory and legal structures, and suggesting measures for tackling the issue related to virtual currencies, like how to protect the consumers, money laundering and other relevant issues. Then Income Tax Department has launched the second phase of Operation Clean Money subsequent to demonetization of November 8. Some people deposited huge amounts of cash, and initially the Income Tax Department has gone for e-verification of large cash deposits and sent online queries and investigated around 18 lakh persons in the first phase under Operation Clean Money. Now the second phase is basically to investigate over 60,000 individuals, and the aim is to detect black money generation subsequent to demonetization, right? So, Operation Clean Money, please don't forget. Union Cabinet approved setting up of Jumba SPV. Jumba SPV means Government E-Marketplace Special Purpose Vehicle. Government purchases several common use goods and services for the common use of the citizens, and for various projects also government procure goods and services, and basically this will act as national portal for buying goods and services by central government and state governments. So, it will provide end-to-end online marketplace for central and state government ministries, department, central and state PSUs, autonomous and local bodies for both the procurement of common use goods and services. China urged United States of America. China urged United States of America to peaceful measures for solving rising tensions in Korean Peninsula due to the nuclear program of North Korea. And China can control North Korea, but China is not doing deliberately, and North Korea is dependent on China. And under these circumstances, please look into this map. This is Korean Peninsula. Two things are happening. One is USA is deploying this terminal high altitude area defense anti-ballistic missile system in South Korea, and it will further infuriate not only North Korea but also China. Then second point is USA is deploying this Carl Vinson aircraft carrier. This Carl Vinson aircraft carrier is just like INS Vikramaditya for us. Now United States of America is deploying this in the nearby waters. So these two things basically further infuriating China, right? So look into the next one. Union Cabinet has approved signing of MOU with member states of BIMSTEC. Please recollect BIMSTEC. BIMSTEC is basically 7 countries. The 7 countries, and the BIMSTEC full form is Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral, Technical and Economic Cooperation. The main purpose or objective is technological and economic cooperation among South Asian and Southeast Asian countries adjacent to Bay of Bengal. Please look into this. These countries are adjacent to Bay of Bengal, right? So this BIMSTEC, not much headway, in fact. It is almost dormant. Now efforts are being made by India to give life to BIMSTEC because of the present problem with the SAARC because of Pakistan, right? So here, what is the purpose of this BIMSTEC grid interconnection? The purpose is, it is the interconnection of electricity grid and carrying out trade in electricity among BIMSTEC countries, right? Look into the next one. These 7 are the countries, BIMSTEC countries. So here there is Myanmar and Thailand. These 2 are part of ASEAN, and remaining 5 countries are part of South Asia. So these 7 countries put together are forming BIMSTEC. Centre plans to raise at least 10,000 crores of rupees from listing 11 public sector undertakings by selling up to 10% stake in each of the firms. When 10% stake is sold, it is example of minority stake sale. Under disinvestment, there are 2. One is minority stake sale. The second one is a strategic sale. That means coming out of management control. Minority stake sale is selling around 5%, 10%, keeping majority control of 51% by the government, right? Here 10 public sector undertakings will be selected and then they will be listed, and here 10,000 crores of rupees will be raised by selling 10% stake in each of these firms. Please don't forget, government's target for disinvestment is rupees 72,500 crore, right? Then National Clean Energy Fund. What is National Clean Energy Fund? National Clean Energy Fund is imposition of cess of rupees 400 per ton of coal, whether it is mined in our country or imported from other country, it doesn't matter. Uniformly rupees 400 per ton of coal, the cess is imposed. This is under National Clean Energy Fund, and the purpose is basically to promote and finance clean energy activities in the country like solar power, wind power. But here the basic point is, government incorporated in Schedule of Goods and Services Tax Compensation to States Act 2017 that this fund, National Clean Energy Fund, will be utilized for compensating the states which lose revenue because of implementation of GST for the next 5 years, right? So this is not at all the right thing. The fund, National Clean Energy Fund, that must be utilized for promoting clean energy activities in the country. How this clause is incorporated to spend this money for compensation to states because of implementation of GST is not understandable. There are several representations with regard to tampering of EVMs, and government decided to purchase voter verified paper audit trail machines. So, VVPAT machines increases the public confidence in elections. Free and fair elections are bedrock of democracy. So, now with VVPAT, they are easy to audit. Voter has the comfort of additional feedback, and at the same time, this puts an end to the losers blaming EVMs. Government cleared the purchase of 16,15,000 VVPAT machines. Each VVPAT machine costs around rupees 20,000 and the total cost is rupees 3,173 or 174 crores, right? Antimicrobial resistance is quite in the news, and this is the phenomena which occur when effectiveness of antimicrobial drugs, or you can say for example antibiotics, is diminished. What we do when there is some cut on our hand, sometimes we use antibiotics, right? So as to cure the bacteriological infections, but the resistance, antimicrobial resistance is increasing because here the antibiotics are not able to cure the diseases. And what is the reason? When antibiotics are overused or ill-regulated, or when they are used inappropriately, under these circumstances, antimicrobial resistance will increase. So here, bacterial mutations and the superbugs they create make treating basic infections next to impossible, and if present trend continues, by 2050, antimicrobial resistance will kill more people than cancer. India achieved several milestones in energy during 16-17. One is India achieved milestone of 10 gigawatt of solar power generation capacity, but a long way to go. By 2022, we have to reach 100 gigawatt. So, we crossed 10 gigawatt during 2016-17, but a long way to go because the target for solar power generation capacity by 2022 is 100 gigawatt or 1 lakh megawatt. And we achieved the milestone of 30 gigawatt of wind power. Wind power target is 60,000 megawatt, or you can say 60 gigawatt. And out of 60 gigawatt, we already reached 30 gigawatt as far as wind power is concerned, but there is a long way to go as far as solar power generation capacity is concerned, and 50 gigawatt in overall renewable energy. Right? So, this is about the milestones we achieved in energy. There are two important aspects which resulted in lot of power savings during 2016-17. One because of Ujala, that is energy efficient LEDs in place of incandescents. Then second one is Perform Achieve Trade Scheme. This scheme basically names the industries. Basically, it selects the industries where power consumption is high, and subsequently it introduces energy saving measures. That means benchmark energy consumption will be established. If the factory is consuming less power than the benchmark, then the energy certificates will be given. Those are tradable. And in Ujala, lot of energy saving occurred because of replacement with LED. Election Commission is seeking the powers to disqualify the candidates who offer bribes to the voters. Here, Election Commission wants candidates promoting corruption must be treated on par with those charged with heinous crimes. Now, Election Commission is asking after RK Nagar constituency incident in Chennai, and in 1989, Election Commission got the power to countermand elections in case it was proved that a candidate used muscle power to win the election. Now, only Election Commission can countermand the election process or postpone the election process, but not disqualify. Election Commission has got no powers to disqualify at this juncture when money or bribes are offered to the voters. Now, Election Commission wants that power. A new roadmap for fiscal deficit was proposed by encasing panel. We discussed several times, and in fact, pros and cons of encasing committee recommendations I would like to present shortly. And here overall public debt is going to be the anchor by 2023, 40% threshold for the center and 20% for the states. And escape clause up to 2023, escape clause of 0.5% as far as fiscal deficit is concerned is given under these circumstances. Right. So, we discussed several aspects today. Please do join for other capsules. Have a nice day. Thank you.